Omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids are both essential fats that the human body cannot synthesize on its own. They must be obtained through our diets, and both play critical roles in various bodily functions, including brain health, immune response, and inflammation regulation. However, the balance between omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids has shifted dramatically over time, especially with the rise of industrial agriculture and processed foods. This imbalance has profound effects on health, contributing to an increase in chronic diseases and inflammatory disorders. To understand how this imbalance developed and its impact on modern health, we need to explore the dietary shifts from pre-industrial times to the present day. Omega-3 and omega-6 consumption in pre-industrial societies pre-1900. In pre-industrial societies, the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats was much more balanced compared to modern diets. Historically, people obtained their omega-3 fatty acids from natural nutrient-dense sources such as wild-caught fish, grass-fed animals, and wild plants, seeds, and nuts. These foods are rich in EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, which are long-chain omega-3 fatty acids critical for reducing inflammation and supporting brain health. Additionally, plants like flaxseeds and chia seeds provided ALA, alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-6 fatty acids, while also essential, were consumed in smaller amounts in these traditional diets. Sources included seeds, nuts, and whole grains such as wheat and barley, which provided linoleic acid, the most common form of omega-6. Unlike omega-3s, omega-6 fats tend to promote inflammation when consumed in excess, which is why maintaining a proper balance is crucial for health. During this period, the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 was estimated to be around 1:1 up to 2:1. This ratio is considered ideal because omega-3s have anti-inflammatory properties, while omega-6s, when consumed in moderation, help with functions like blood clotting and cellular growth. A balanced ratio promoted overall health, kept inflammation in check, and supported the body's natural healing processes. Chronic diseases associated with inflammation, such as heart disease and arthritis, were rare or non-existent in populations consuming this balanced diet. Omega-3 and omega-6. Consumption from the 1900s to 1950s, the shift begins. With the onset of industrialization in the early 1900s, agricultural practices began to shift dramatically, which had a profound effect on the balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in the diet. Factory farming replaced traditional farming practices, meaning that animals were no longer primarily grass-fed, but instead were raised on grain-based diets. This change significantly reduced the omega-3 content in animal products, as grain-fed animals produce meat, milk, and eggs with a much higher ratio of omega-6 fatty acids compared to grass-fed livestock. At the same time, the rise of processed vegetable oils, such as corn oil, soybean oil, and sunflower oil, started to dominate the Western diet. These oils are rich in omega-6 fatty acids and became staples in cooking and food production due to their low cost and long shelf life. As a result, the omega-6 intake in Western diets began to rise rapidly, while omega-3 consumption from traditional sources like wild-caught fish and grass-fed meats declined. By the mid-20th century, the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 in the average diet had shifted to around 4:1 up to 5:1, still manageable but already signaling a shift away from the ideal balance. This change set the stage for the nutritional imbalance we see today. While omega-6 fats were necessary for certain bodily functions, the increase in their consumption began to crowd out omega-3 fats, leading to a greater inflammatory response in the body. Omega-3 and omega-6 consumption from the 1950s to 2000s, the rise of processed foods. The second half of the 20th century saw an explosion of processed and fast foods. Vegetable oils, especially corn oil and soybean oil, became ubiquitous in the food industry, being used to fry foods, bake goods, and extend the shelf life of processed snacks. As fast food chains became more prevalent, diets became increasingly rich in omega-6 fats due to the widespread use of these oils in fried and processed foods. Popular items such as chips, cookies, frozen dinners, and margarine were rich in omega-6 fatty acids but contained little to no omega-3s. Meanwhile, fish consumption, one of the primary sources of omega-3s, remained stagnant or even declined in many parts of the world. Furthermore, the trend toward grain-fed livestock over grass-fed continued, further reducing the omega-3 content in everyday animal products like meat and dairy. During this time, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in the average Western diet skyrocketed to between 10 to 1 and 20 to 1. This ratio is far from ideal and is strongly associated with chronic inflammation, a key driver of many modern health issues such as heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and autoimmune disorders. The body's natural balance between pro-inflammatory omega-6 fats and anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats was severely disrupted, contributing to an increased risk of chronic diseases. Omega-3 and omega-6 consumption from 2000 to present, 2024, seeking balance in a processed world. In recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the importance of balancing omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids for optimal health. Medical research has underscored the link between the high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in modern diets and the rise in chronic inflammatory diseases. This awareness has led to more people incorporating omega-3 rich foods such as fatty fish, for example, salmon, sardines, mackerel, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts into their diets. Fish oil supplements and algae-based omega-3 supplements have also become popular ways to boost omega-3 intake. However, despite this increasing awareness, the typical Western diet still leans heavily toward omega-6 due to the pervasive use of vegetable oils and processed foods. As of 2024, the average omega-6 to omega-3 ratio in industrialized countries is estimated to be between 15.1 and 25.1, which is far from the ideal range. This imbalance continues to fuel inflammatory responses in the body, exacerbating conditions like atherosclerosis, insulin resistance, and obesity. Studies have shown that reducing the ratio to around 4:1 or lower can significantly improve health outcomes, particularly by reducing inflammation and improving heart health. While many health-conscious individuals are now actively trying to reduce their omega-6 intake by cutting down on processed and fried foods, the high levels of omega-6 fats in everyday items make this a challenging task. The imbalance is deeply rooted in modern food systems, and without deliberate effort, most people will continue to consume far more omega-6 than omega-3. The health impacts of the omega-6 to omega-3 imbalance. The dramatic shift in omega-6 and omega-3 consumption over the last century has had profound implications for health. Omega-6 fatty acids, when consumed in excessive amounts, promote the production of pro-inflammatory molecules called eicosanoids. While some inflammation is necessary for healing and immune function, chronic inflammation, fueled by an omega-6 dominant diet, can lead to a range of chronic diseases, including cardiovascular disease. Chronic inflammation damages blood vessels, leading to the buildup of plaque and increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes. Obesity and metabolic syndrome. Omega-6 heavy diets are associated with increased fat storage, insulin resistance, and weight gain, contributing to obesity and related conditions. Autoimmune disorders, inflammation caused by omega-6 dominance can exacerbate conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and other autoimmune diseases. On the other hand, omega-3 fatty acids play a critical role in reducing inflammation and supporting heart, brain, and joint health. Diets higher in omega-3s are linked to a lower risk of heart disease, improved cognitive function, and even reduced symptoms of depression. Balancing these two fats by increasing omega-3 intake and reducing omega-6 is key to promoting long-term health. Conclusion: a call for balance. The historical and modern trends in omega-3 and omega-6 consumption reveal the importance of maintaining a balanced ratio for optimal health. In pre-industrial societies, the balance of omega-3 and omega-6 was ideal for preventing inflammation and promoting wellness. However, the rise of processed foods and vegetable oils has skewed this balance dramatically, leading to increased inflammation and a higher risk of chronic diseases. By reducing the consumption of omega-6 rich processed foods and increasing omega-3 intake from natural sources like fatty fish, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts, we can work towards restoring the body's natural balance. It's not just about cutting down on one and increasing the other, it's about understanding the types of fats we are consuming and being intentional about incorporating the right balance into our daily diet. For example, replacing cooking oils like corn oil or soybean oil with extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, both of which have healthier fat profiles, can make a significant difference. Swapping processed snacks and fried foods for whole, omega-3 rich foods like wild-caught salmon or chia seed pudding can help bring the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio closer to the ideal range, which is essential for reducing inflammation and protecting against chronic diseases. Furthermore, modern agricultural practices that prioritize speed and yield over nutrition have contributed to this imbalance by producing foods that are higher in omega-6 fats. Seeking out grass-fed meats, organic dairy, and wild-caught fish can provide better ratios of omega-3 to omega-6, as these animals are raised on diets more akin to their natural diets, leading to healthier fat profiles in their meat and milk. As we move forward, we must continue to educate ourselves about the importance of essential fats and the balance between omega-3 and omega-6. The modern Western diet, rich in omega-6 fatty acids from processed oils and snacks, has tipped the scale toward chronic inflammation and disease. But by returning to more traditional sources of nutrition, like those that sustained pre-industrial populations, we can rediscover the health benefits that come from whole foods, rich in nutrients, and lower in processed oils. To summarize, pre-1900, omega-6 to omega-3 ratio was around 1:1 up to 2:1, ideal for maintaining health and reducing inflammation. 1900 to 1950, with the rise of vegetable oils and factory farming, the ratio shifted to 4:1 UP to 5:1, beginning a trend of omega-3 deficiency. 1950 to 2000, processed foods, fast food, and grain-fed livestock caused the ratio to worsen, reaching 10:1 up to 20:1, fueling chronic inflammation. 2000 to 2024. Despite growing awareness, the typical ratio in Western diets remains around 15:1 up to 25:1, far from the ideal balance. Restoring this balance isn't just about avoiding disease, it's about embracing a healthier lifestyle where the foods we eat support our body's natural processes, reduce inflammation, and promote overall well-being. By making mindful choices about the fats we consume, we can take steps to improve our health, reduce the risk of chronic disease, and return to a more natural state of balance, one that served our ancestors so well for generations. In summary, omega-3 and omega-6 fats are both essential for the body, but their balance is critical. In pre-industrial societies, people ate omega-6 to omega-3 ratios of around 1:1 up to 2:1, with omega-3s coming from natural sources like wild fish and grass-fed animals. Today, the typical Western diet has a ratio of 15:1 up to 25:1 due to processed vegetable oils and grain-fed livestock, leading to inflammation and chronic health issues. By reducing processed foods and increasing omega-3s from sources like fish, flax seeds, and walnuts, we can restore balance and improve health. Thank you for being here with us. HIW.